Very beautiful, Nina. That sounds really, really lovely. It's kind of a pity to interrupt you, but we have to work on some things. Very atmospheric playing. I like that as usual very much. A couple of little things to discuss. The dotted rhythm in the beginning, this left hand broken octave, could have a bit more significance. I thought that sometimes you play that a little bit maybe unnecessarily fast. Because whenever you play that just a tiny bit more deliberately, first of all, it works, we hear both notes, and also it has a bit more to say.
Yes.
So the problem is that especially if the piano is very light, I think this one is like sort of playing playing by itself. Yeah. So I think that we should make sure that both parts, the fifth finger and the thumb, also the thumb, make a kind of individual movement there. Can you try maybe the beginning, please? You know what? I mean, it's very often so that when the music is slow and seemingly passive, as this one is, so we have to be internally very fast. And I think this actually translates to the movement. It's much easier when you are prepared, I mean, with the left hand very early, so that the left hand is like waiting for its time. Right. Right, yes, exactly. And then try to make that faster movement, faster preparation movement of the left hand in such a way that it doesn't disturb this very peaceful feeling of the phrase. So it's something which is like necessary but not obtrusive.
Yeah.
Let's try. You know what? I think it's also, that was better, but it's also easier to play the dotted rhythm well if you leave the bass note a little bit earlier. It's of course not a staccato, so you are playing that correctly. But you can stay there a little bit less long and trust the pedal. He writes specifically col pedale in the beginning. So one of the reasons he does that might be this. The possibility to just leave that ringing in the pedal. Try to make an as simple movement. Right, and actually I would have the hand in octave position already when I start. So I kind of phantom octave. There you go. There you go. Thumb also. Yep. Much better. Very beautiful. No matter. Fine. That was much better. Very, very much better. There's a kind of a rotational freedom in the arm. I mean, like a secret little movement of the elbow upwards when you come and reach for the... So the whole translates into one single rounded, very, very relaxed movement. And of course here you have time to go back, but then it's just very continuous. Try that, please. Okay, remember the significance of this dotted note, and also remember the significance of the difference between pianissimo and triple pianissimo, which we also will have, as you know. Of course, you know that very well. So that would be good to remember that there's a kind of a cantabile element in this pianissimo, and that, I mean, in the melody, and that would then make it possible for the other voices also to join in a bit more actively. Try. Yes. Relax. Sounds better. Okay, fine, great. The touch and the sound is now much better. you were losing a little bit of the sostenuto now.
That's true, yes.
But if you can combine the sostenuto to that kind of sound, that would be fantastic. Let's try. Don't lose the sound. Yes. Keep going. Portato. Okay, good. Getting better. I would think that the first about 3 bars, first 4 bars, would be better to do like as continuously and in a very flowing manner, so that we would not overphrase that. I think the first phrase where something more happens is especially that I would like to hear. Let's try again, please, from the start. And relax completely before you start, and get ready for this activity, certain activity of the fingers, so that you go down, keeping the arm very free, and also the fingertips a little bit more active, while the left hand does this movement in a very relaxed way. Fantastic. Alto. Portato. That was, I think, much better. That was much better. I think now you did what I was about to suggest next. You kind of read my thoughts. And that thought was that, like I said, the first 4 bars could be like agogically neutral, we could say, so that it just flows and keeps lamenting. But then when this happens, I think the alto keeps a bit more active, and then the portato might be a little bit more like expanding, so that there's a kind of a agogical difference between the first 4 bars and the next 4 bars. So we move in very large units. Yeah. Can you try? And so on, yeah, fine. So you have a very, very beautiful approach to the whole movement. It's just, I think, this control of the touch which is very difficult. But then we have to remember that in real life, you have, before this second movement, you have played the entire first movement. So you know the piano completely well. And also in real life, usually we don't start like 8:30 a.m. So it's I mean, it's a completely different situation. So, but I mean, those would be like some of the most important things about the opening. Yeah. And maybe physically speaking, the most important thing is the continuity of movement. And of course, I mean, that's also like symbolically very, very important, continuity of the whole movement in a kind of a musical way. But also continuity of the playing movements. Yes. To make that happen would be important. Good. And another thing which is attached to that is the certain like internal activity of the movement, and again of the movements of the hand, so that there's also, of course, an external activity, but still, so that there is a certain incisiveness in the touch when you play that, especially in the dotted rhythms. As you know, I remember you handling these dotted rhythms very, very well with this assimilation. I mean, with this 3 against 2 problem, which is a typical Schubert problem, and I think that's like one more variant of this dotted rhythm problem here in the beginning. Very nice. And then we should look at how you come to the middle part. I think it's kind of symbolic that the dotted rhythm ceases just before the triple pianissimo. The music kind of goes down and kind of freezes, like loses some of the momentum then before the middle part starts, which of course is even more momentous than anything else before. And the piano pianissimo, the triple pianissimo, as usual, should be a very special place. And I think that you can show the relative lessening of the movement also by giving a bit more time for the whole triple piano thing, so that the last 6 bars would be just a little bit slower. And also then the entrance of the middle part could happen a bit more early, so that the continuation is not broken.
Yes.
Let's try from, what's a good place to start? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going. Decrescendo, not diminuendo. Just single. Take time. Fantastic. That's the direction. Take time. But exactly. I think okay, a couple of notes did not sound, but the concept which you showed was very clear. That was very clear, and you started the triple pianissimo in a remarkable way. I think you had a very good sound there. Really, like a completely different dimension than the pianissimo, and that's exactly what we need.
And this chord, the first one is always easier than the.
Do you mean physically easier?
No, to find the right sound. I don't know.
Well, okay, but you see, you can take the cue from what he writes. He writes decrescendo starting from here, meaning that
I see.
That the F sharp would be slightly less than the F double sharp. And it's really a matter of voicing. So because you have had this kind of top heavy sound, then like getting more and more passive, I think. Let's try that area again.
More.
Yeah, you can maybe turn the hand a bit towards the thumb so that the thumb goes deeper down. Not too much, not too much. Relax. It's a bit too much. That's a bit obtrusive, I think.
Still too much.
And less. And even less. Relax. One ear. It's quite something. Ready. Okay, fine. Very beautiful. I mean, amazingly beautiful moment. Very good. So I think it's just a question of getting used to that particular piano. A, B, playing this in the normal time. C, having played the first movement before this. And then what is maybe the most important thing, because these are sometimes things which we cannot influence, but what we can influence is the relative activity of the fingertips when we play this. I mean, we should never let the fingertips sleep completely. That's dangerous. And also try to be in the position before you play the note, always. So think of those things. But very good. Now I think that the sound of the middle could be a little bit more clearly different than the sound of the others. I mean, of course, it's well known that this piece is said to be about death, like a poème de la mort, like the Chopin Second Sonata, and I think that makes complete sense. So that the middle part, if we take that approach, would be like a different contrast than facing the death, let's say in Mozart's Don Giovanni. I mean, there's this defiance and this contempt of the hero against the extreme adversity. There's here no contempt here and no defiance either, but there's a certain like warmth and almost like an acceptance, I think, in that middle part. And I think that certain confidence even, which I would like to hear, especially after the hopelessness of the triple pianissimo. Would you like to play just a couple of last bars before that? Good. Prepare. Yeah, fine. I thought you arrived at the last eighth note exactly in the right time. You played the eighth note a little bit too short, I think. It's an accent, so it could be thought as a diminuendo, like accent plus diminuendo, and also like a tenuto. So.
Yeah.
Something like that, so that there's this confidence in that theme. Fingertips. Can you do that again? Just play this. You know, there's a certain hesitation in the preparation movement which you don't need. I mean, it should be, of course, very controlled, very placid, very calm, but it should be not hesitating. Just go. And then also remember to use the fingertip at the end. It's a kind of a not scratching but like a caressing movement. Nice. There we go. Okay, fine. It's very often so that it's a certain concept that releases that. And for you, I think it was this idea of handling the key in a certain way, this caressing, and it sounded exactly right. So let's do it again and then let's go. Nice. Relax completely. And don't push too much forward. Portato. Portato. Flow. I think so. It's mezzo forte, but that was much better.
Somehow here the piano is maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
so
I mean,
loud.
exactly. I mean, it's without the lid first of all, and then we are in a rather small room with a rather big piano. So I mean, those things happen.
Okay,
and also, by the way, many colleagues have said that the position of the pianos here now make it sound really loud. So it's not you. I think it's the constellation of the space. But anyway, still, I mean.
Yeah.
Deep, kind of a normal open mezzo voce sound.
Enough.
Relax. I would use a little bit more free wrist. Yeah, fine. That was better. And then we have, of course, this voicing. I would practice that really like non-legato in the triplets, and with a very clear legato without the pedal in the top line. You can even do these substitutions when you practice, if you like. And completely free wrist, that's really important. Okay, so the wrist has a little bit different function when you play the melody note and when you play the others. When you play the others, the wrist will be kind of passive, but the fingertips should be very active. So wrist down and the hand weight down. So it's like weight only on the top and no weight on the others. Okay. I think you are scratching a little bit too much now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of a very simple movement. That's. Keep the thumb also very mobile and not very light.
Yes.
Beautiful, and so on and so on. I think that's just a matter of practice, but I think that's the direction of the middle movement. Now, since we also have to work on the finale, I think this would be the extent of the time we have now for this. You said, I think, that you have some questions about the second movement.
Actually, well, what can I ask? I mean, right now I was just thinking that the forte places we have in the, bar 11, where it kind of gets loud.
Oh, yeah,
think
right.
Today, it was not, how to say, intense enough.
Well, that's true. I think the difference between the forte of the beginning in bar 12 and 11 is that we have more top there, like more top voice. And especially, and whereas here in the middle part when we have forte, it's more like a choir, so. Not so much the top, but all.
Yes.
But here, and especially there. So it's kind of a more lonely voice in the opening, like a painful forte, but not too.
Yeah,
and then
painful,
he goes down right after the forte. Fine, fine. There we have the most important different material in the movement. So, good. Of course, it's a new piece, and there's some things which are not quite secure, but I mean that's just a matter of time, so nothing to worry about in that sense. Okay, I think we should look at the character though a little bit more clearly.
Yeah.
And I think the character in this movement, as in many really important sonatas, is kind of explained through the other movements. So, if the first movement, as sometimes is said, I think Erkko Demus articulated that once, that it's like the beginning is like asking a question to death. The question is there still time? And the death answers no. Can you play the beginning of the first movement? Right, exactly that. So very clearly two different elements, and the one is like pleading and delicate, and the other one is actually rather quiet. I mean the trill in the bass is rather quiet, and I think that changes in the finale. I think if we continue this idea of Erkko Demus and think that the death answers there's no time. So I think the death says now. So I think it's a much more cruel and much more cold and insistent moment. I don't think that's enough fortepiano. I think.
Yes.
By the way, you can actually do the fortepiano also with pedal, so that you manipulate the pedal and the key, so that the accent is very big, so it's clearly forte, and then it goes down quickly, like more quickly than it would otherwise. Can you try?
Let's see. Oh my God. No.
So what you can do there is you can play the first note really loud, and then immediately after playing that, the pedal can be opened before you do anything else. So first pedal down, then you play the octave, and then you release the key immediately after having played that, and then again immediately you partially repress the key, but only partially, like to the half. This explanation sounds very complicated, but it's just one movement, and when you experiment with that, you will get the hang. Try.
Let's see.
Already better. You can do that a little bit quicker.
Yes. Oh God. Too much.
Right, and now your hand is a bit too deep. You see, it's just a couple of millimeters down. Should be.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. I think that's really quite something, quite interesting. And
Interesting, yeah.
so it's like not really aggressive, but it's just absolutely unyielding. Absolutely unyielding. And then another thing which is even more important, allegro ma non troppo. Ma non troppo, yes, but allegro ma non troppo. So
I was expecting you to
it was a little slow. It was a little slow.
Yes.
But it's of course very nice that it's not mechanical and not like stupidly fast or anything, but it has to be a little bit faster than this. Try. Nice. Yeah, fine. Very fine. That was better. Also including the first fortepiano in the octave. Then I would be pretty much precise with the articulation. So it's a kind of an innocent dance with subtle little articulation differences and very light, I think. Try. Yes, wonderful. Oh, that's great. Okay, that was something else. That was something else. That was great. To me, that was exactly the point. I mean, I think. How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, the fortepiano makes much more sense to me, and it's.
Yeah.
But this weird theme.
Okay, you know, I have a kind of an odd association.
What does it do?
Well, to me it's a kind of a dance in the face of death, and dance in a very very hopeless way. I have a weird association with this opening of the finale to another piece which has nothing to do with Schubert at all. It's the trio by Shostakovich, the E minor trio, where we have this. That theme, but we also have. I mean, it's kind of related. Well, let's say it's not related, but it can be seen as somehow related. And there's a story about this Shostakovich Trio, which I think might give you some insight to this Schubert finale as well. They say that the image of that dance in the Shostakovich Trio was a flashback to the story of the Holocaust, and especially that story where the Jews were gathered around a hole in the ground which they have dug themselves, and they were forced to dance before they were shot. So absolutely horrifying story, and it's a dance macabre. It's a dance macabre, and I think this is also a dance macabre.
Yes.
But dance macabre in a less sharp way than the Shostakovich. But there's something absolutely hopeless in that.
Yeah.
So. But somebody tries to dance. Somebody tries to dance in spite of everything.
Yeah.
Maybe that helps. Okay, fine. A couple of other things. I think there's also a big difference between assertion and non-assertion. I mean, this is as assertive as it gets now. But I think it's like there's more time for little things like micro delays before the downbeats and all that. And I think also it's kind of important that this other thing, whatever it is, doesn't have any delays. Now, right away. Hey, but it's getting too slow.
Okay, yes.
Okay, fine. I kind of provoked that. It was a little bit too early now. I mean, this syncopation. But it should be like as early as possible.
Yeah.
As early as possible. Maybe if I don't wave my hands now, so it's easier to do. Let's try. Exactly. Okay, fine. That's fine. When I don't disturb you, so you do it fine. Okay, good. Couple of more things. I think there's a kind of a magical moment where we should start the dance. Of course, I mean, it's pretty much 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 1, 2, and. Of course, I mean, that's where it officially is. But there's also a time which comes from the exact decay of the fortepiano. I don't mean, there's no fermata, of course. I don't mean that. But there's a certain softness in that delay. Slight delay of the dance, which I think makes the dance sound more helpless.
Oops, a little much.
You see, it should not be. Yeah, exactly. I would use the fleshy part of the fingertip and have like, yeah, that's good. Have a like very relaxed fingers, so not that at all, but like a spaghetti thing. That's it. Yeah, but no left pedal. But
Now I'm slow.
yes. But I didn't have to say that. You said it yourself. Okay. Very good. Okay. Yeah. That's much better. Then
This is an octave higher. I'm sorry, I did not play this. I learned wrong by heart.
Okay. Doesn't matter. No, of course, doesn't matter, but I mean, that's easy to change. So that was much better in terms of the difference between the G, whatever that means, and the dance, whatever that means. Then there's a kind of very pianistic thing. Your left hand is a little bit too loud.
Yeah.
And also, what I find interesting is that there's no slur anywhere.
Okay, I thought slur. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a dotted one, and then I just have this
But you see, these are editorial. These are
yes, I know.
suggestions by Mr.
Frau
Valbuga-Litschau. Okay, so fine. I think it's actually maybe more dramatic when there's no slur in the left hand. Try. Actually, can you do the left hand? I mean, left hand alone. Of course, not staccato, but non-legato. Sorry, your thumb is too heavy and it plays too long.
Yes.
So. Okay, no. You see, what happens is that you leave the thumb down, but you shouldn't. Try to lift the thumb completely before you do the next double note. You see, it's again this internal speed, this internal time, which must be, I think, sometimes different, meaning faster than the actual time where we play.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at that. Can you just play? More or less. So if the stretch of the hand is a problem, so then have the hand more mobile. You can turn the hand a little bit. Sorry. Maybe to that direction. Actually, even better if you imagine that the center of the hand is in the double notes. Where, of course, I mean, it kind of automatically is, but so that this is the kind of goal of the movement. Yeah. You can do those things just to make your ear getting used to. Exactly. I think sometimes it's very useful to do these redistributions of the hands just to get the sound, and then try to match the sound with one hand. Better, yeah. Okay. Yes, that's the way. 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 It's already better. Already better. Okay, so that's to be practiced.
Yes.
Okay. And then I think there's something absolutely desperate in this. I mean, the crescendo, I think, can be. I think that's really something bursts to the open there. So I think you need a bit more tone. Can you start from? Right. Well, more or less. It kind of merges into that. I think it's kind of joined spiritually and otherwise into that. So, like, gives up in a way. Gives up by getting more powerful. So, can you actually let's try it from the start. I think that would be better. Good. Good. More right. Go. Keep going. Yeah, fine. But then after this outburst, plus the G, I think something is very different then when it continues again piano. So let's do it from the start of the octaves. Sorry, the difference is not quite as big as I would like to have it. It's fine. I mean. So something is broken in between.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
In that, yeah. Right. That was so much better. That was so much better. One little addition. When you come to more sound. You see, we have longer legato slurs now than we used to. We just had legato slurs for usually 2 notes. This is the only, and I think that's very light. But here, I think that's a bit more. Well, sorry, one thing. I would like to stress the difference of lightness of this slur, and then the sort of increased energy of those slurs. And then you have to work on the left hand also here. Now here, this is I think different in the sense that the double notes are not the most important things. I mean, not like.
Yes.
But now I think they are clearly less. Also, I would do a difference between the staccato and the non-staccato. So, non-staccato. That might be good.
I see.
That's fine. Stuck. Right. So it gets more active through that.
No.
Try to avoid the left pedal as much as you can. I mean, you don't really. That's right. Crescendo. Yeah. It's something absolutely like monolithic about that G. Something horrible. Yeah, and then also I think that at the end it gets lighter, I think. Before that. Right. Okay, well, don't worry. I mean, there are many things to practice, of course. Yeah. So, but now I can hear very clearly that you understand exactly what we talked about. What about somewhere there? Okay. We have many things. This is actually technically the most difficult place in the finale. You see.
Yeah.
I think we should practice that really without the pedal, and we should start practicing. By the way, this is a very useful thing to do. 5, 5, 5 legato. Just without lifting the key at all. Right. right.
Oh, it's
And then
I
that's,
think here I do 4.
yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
right. That's exactly right. So I think there's like 3 stages. I would start with practicing the top line alone with that fingering which you
Yeah.
have there. Then top line plus, whenever needed, the other lower voices, but just the one which is together with the top line note. And so that you do the slur in the top line and that
The
you
other short.
detach the lower note right away. So it's completely detached, but you still have this possibility of doing the slur in the top. Do it very slowly first, just the top. You see, I would use a bit more arm weight. Keep the hand absolutely free, and then just before you slip to the next key, feel the resistance of the next key. There you go, better. That's very nice. That's very nice. Okay, fine. So that's number 1, and then add those other notes. No, it's too loud. Getting there. Actually, when you can do bar 87, you can do the whole thing. There's a few things to think about. First of the fingering, I would do 5/4, 5/3,
Yeah.
and then the 3 as light as possible. Getting there. Okay, I would prepare the 3 right away, even now, or already now, before I do anything with the pinky. Getting there. Okay, fine. So I will leave you to practice that. I mean, but that takes lots of practice. It's really like a Chopin etude. I mean, in the degree of difficulty when one does it okay and properly. So, which means that there's like 3 completely different levels. There's this top line, which is very legato and very like solid in the tone and like warm and broad in the tone, and then there's this light pizzicato like bass, and then there's this little tremolando from the 1 and 2, or
Yes.
sometimes the other fingers. It's not easy.
No.
It's just like you see, like the chansons of Liszt. I mean, it's no less difficult, or no than that. Okay, but I would leave you to practice that. Let's do the entrance to the fortissimo. Can you start that from, let's say, is that okay, this crescendo here? And don't worry too much about the legato. I mean, that's something to practice. Yeah, I think that's a kind of interesting thing. You see, when the bass changes from and especially that, I think I would like to write. And now the minor. Very good, and that was a very dramatic change, and that you did very well, I think. So this kind of heralds, kind of shows what is going to happen very soon.
Yeah.
When you play these chords, don't leave the keys. I mean, you are a bit too much in the air. Yeah. Yeah. Try without the pedal. Yeah, right. Go deep down. You see, I think you should feel the bottom of the a bit more.
What is it?
Yeah, Okay, when you practice that, relax after every chord, and especially after that one. Right, go deep down. Deep. Okay, you can imagine that the movement is like towards the piano and down, like forward and down, like this one. Right.
No.
Yeah, in that. Let's make sure that the fourth is. Yeah, right. Okay, good. Okay, fine. You know what? I think we are running out of time slowly, but couple of things only about this assimilation here. Now, it sounded a little like you don't do the assimilation, like you keep these dotted rhythms as 16ths. Was that?
That was the idea.
That was the idea. Okay. Okay. Why not?
But
No. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I definitely think that could be. That doesn't have to be a kind of an ironclad rule. That every time when Schubert writes dotted rhythms and triplets, so it should always be assimilated. But I was thinking, I mean, this is quite a long stretch of this situation. Could it be so that you would start with the way you did from 16ths and then somewhere there get closer and closer to triplets, even like merging with the triplets, so that gradually the speed of the 16ths get like longer and longer until it becomes a triplet, and then of course it becomes the first theme.
Yeah, exactly. So then when we have this steady, it becomes back.
Right. So you could start that way and then somewhere.
Yeah.
So it would already be a triplet around that stage, and it would change somewhere there. It doesn't really matter where, but somewhere.
Yes.
Can you try? Gradually. Yes, exactly. I would actually use the same finger. That's yeah, I mean. So then we hear that very short.
Or I don't know.
16th. And then 3. Right, exactly. So that the whole process would repeat itself very quickly here. You would start 16ths and end with triplets already here. Kind of a squeezed together kind of process. I think you did it very well, and especially in the longest section here.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I think you have lots of things to practice, but most important, he still wants to say that you have a very, very good feeling for the whole piece, and your approach, I think, is very natural. So it's very much about refining details, pianistic details, musical details of various sorts.
And not losing the tempo in the
Yeah, the tempo as usual. They say that when Schubert heard a performance, so the first thing he asked, how was the tempo? Wie war das tempo? So that's, I think, also here quite important. Good job.
Thank you.
Sure.